Hey there, guys, and welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. It's Friday night. The feeling's right. I feel alive. Thank you so much for joining me once again. And with all that said, how about I crack open this delicious, magical, mystical, caffeinated beverage? And with all that said, we have a lot to talk about tonight. The first main topic we need to dive into that I have to talk about, it's a little movie that came out last week, and that is Scream 7. And that movie made me want to scream and then jump off of a building. We'll get there. Also, I want to talk about the brand new movie I just saw a very, very early screening of, and that is Project Hail Mary, which was probably one of my more anticipated movies of 2026 and easily the best novel I've ever read. So with all of that said, feel free to get your questions in, your topics. We will dive into every single one of those questions a little bit later. And also, we have a couple new Blu-rays to talk about as well. And we'll cover a few other things along the way. But let me take a sip of this. Tonight's beverage of choice is a Monster Juice grape-flavored Voodoo. I like it. It's quite delicious. All right. And by the way, how's everybody doing? We got, we got James Doshier in here. We got Roger something. Hit the like button, Flicksters. Flick family. That's what I'm going to call all of you. We got Tyler in here. How's it going, Tyler Brusso? Reading Project Hail Mary right now and kind of don't like it at all. Looking forward to the movie, though. Well, where are you at in the book? Because there is a very pivotal point where it just immensely gets better. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Scream 7 is a 5 out of 10. I think you're being generous. Oh, all right. All right, too much to talk about, so I think we should just dive into it. So for tonight's first and main topic, I have a question for all of you watching right now. What's your favorite scary movie? And if any of you say Scream 7, I just don't think we're ever going to see eye to eye when it comes to cinema. And that's okay. But here's what I think about Scream 7. Now, over the last decade or so, the majority of the Scream movies that have been crapped out from Hollywood, they sort of have all blended together for me. I really can't remember who the killers were, what were their motivations, what was the plot. Overall, it doesn't really matter because they were just making it up as they went, and the motivations got more watered down and convoluted and forced as the franchises went on. I really think this is one franchise that has progressively gotten worse with every new installment. Now, when it comes to the original Scream from 1996, I think that movie is a masterpiece. I think that got everything right when it comes to a Scream movie, especially when it comes to that meta horror vibe, the suspense, the characters, the motivation. And keep in mind, the killers in Scream, the original from 1996, Stu and Billy, their motivation for throwing their lives away to be these teenage serial killers, it made sense. And the payoff was worth the journey. And plus, it was just a suspenseful film. And call me crazy, whenever I watch a horror movie, I want some suspense. But also, I want a little bit of levity where there's that meta humor interjected into it. But I will say this. The trailers that played before Scream 7, there was a trailer for Scary Movie 6, and I thought the trailer for Scary Movie 6 was better than the movie Scream 7. There, I said it, and I stand by that. And maybe we can talk about the trailer a little bit later. But when it comes to the plot of Scream 7, does it really matter? But here it goes. Here's my short synopsis. Sidney Prescott is living a quiet life with her family in a new town when another ghost-faced killer emerges. And that's sort of the plot to the majority of the Scream movies. We understand that. And I will say I might have a few spoilers during this review. So if you haven't seen the movie, put your earmuffs on. But I promise you, nothing I say really does matter. Like, you almost can't even spoil this movie because the ending doesn't matter. It's like watching an episode of Scooby-Doo and they take the mask off the killer and it's just some old guy who was the janitor. And it's like, I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you pesky kids. And I'm not kidding when I say this. That's essentially the ending to Scream 7. That's the reveal. So let's back up. Let's back way up. Going into this, I was sort of looking forward to Scream 7. I thought the trailers looked okay. I liked that there were some rumors and rumblings of Matthew Lillard coming back as Stu in some kind of incarnation. And about 3 years ago, I went to a Comic-Con, and I did in fact meet Matthew Lillard and the entire cast of Scream, including the Fonz. And I whispered in Matthew Lillard's ear, and I had to get on my tippy toes to do it because the guy's like 6'4", and I was like, "Are you coming back to the Scream franchise anytime soon?" And he's like, "My parents are going to be pissed, man." None of that happened. Well, actually, I did meet them. I'll insert the picture right here at some point. But really nice guy, and I was really hoping Stu would make a triumphant return to the Scream franchise because I feel like it truly needs him. Not only do I want the charismatic tone that he brings as an actor, he's a little bit over the top and zany, and you can just buy him being the serial killer. But I thought if anyone should be the main antagonist at this point in the franchise, it should come full circle and have Stu come back. He has the driving force, the motivation to be the killer. And there were so many things they could have done with this character. Maybe when she dropped the TV on his head, he was disfigured and fucked up looking, and he's been in a padded cell for the last 30 years. Maybe he's been in a medically induced coma. There was a multitude of things that they could have done with this character. But what do you get? You get a deep fake. You get a Snapchat deep fake filter. That's what you get. That's all you get. That's it. Nothing else, nothing more. And it sucked. It sucked really bad. But throughout the film, there are so many red herrings that are just forced into the story for the sake of being red herrings. It's like, maybe this guy did it. He looks really guilty. Nah, he's just some dude who looks really guilty, but he's just some dude. And then you have the main girl's boyfriend, the daughter of Sidney Prescott, who I feel like the movie should have focused on more. Like, let's allow this franchise to focus on new characters. That way they don't keep having to focus on legacy characters all the time and have the story revolve around them, because I don't really feel like they're offering anything new to the franchise, and there's nothing new to be said. But the daughter of Sidney Prescott, whatever her name is, it doesn't matter. She has a boyfriend. And at one point, she opens up a laptop, and on his laptop, he literally has Stu, a deep fake of Stu with a green screen behind him, and Stu is saying, "I'm going to slit your mother's throat and kill her." And and the girl is like, "Why do you have that on your laptop?" And the guy's just like, "Oh, I was just messing around. just messing around. I just like to make videos about guys who want to kill your mother. I'm completely normal. It's a creative outlet, if you will." And come to find out, he was being honest. He just likes to make videos about dudes wanting to kill his girlfriend's mother. And I thought to myself, well, that's terrible writing. That's atrocious. And this feels like the Netflix version of a Scream movie. If you know what, I won't even put it on that type of pedestal. This feels like the direct-to-DVD $5 bin of a Scream movie that you should never watch because it should stay safely away from society in that $5 Walmart bin. And as far as the technical aspects of this film go, it's directed by Kevin Williamson, I believe. And he's only directed one other movie, which sucked. I can't remember what it's called, but I just remember it sucked. And he wrote the first couple Scream movies, Scream 1 and Scream 2. And this guy is not a director. He should not be directing films. I don't know why they allowed him to direct this. He has no creative merits outside of writing. He should stick to screenwriting. Okay, he wrote the first and second Scream. Good job. Keep doing that. But this guy should not be behind a camera. He just has no concept of how to direct a movie, how to frame a shot, how something should look, because this entire film, it felt like it was shot like an episode of Law and Order. It felt like it was shot for TV. It looked like a TV production. It's over digital. It's overlit. It's not immersive at all. I never once felt like I was in this atmospheric town with a tension and these killers on the loose and the suspense was building up. No, everything's just blatantly put in front of you. There's nothing cinematic about the movie, and it's just not immersive to watch. I hated the way that this looked, and I think the direction was terrible, and I think Kevin Williamson should be ashamed of himself and never direct another movie ever again. It's like, if you don't have the talent, what are you doing here in the director's seat? he felt incompetent as a director in this film. Or at least that's the way I felt when I watched the movie. Now, on a positive note, and I do have only one, I will say the opening scene to Scream 7 was okay. Because you have these two characters, and they go back to the original murder house from Scream 1, Stu's parents' house. And now it's an Airbnb, but it's also like this immersive experience where they have these crime scene photos and caution tape and the outlines of the bodies. And listen, I would be into something like that. I mean, it sounds dark and morbid and slightly creepy, but you know what? I would definitely go stay somewhere like that. It sounds like a good time. And in this Airbnb that these two characters are staying at, there's an animatronic ghost face, and there's some other cool stuff. And I was like, okay, this is kind of neat. I think this is like a creative way to start out the movie. And then what do they do with it? Not much. Within 5 minutes, that scene's over, and then the new Ghostface just burns the Airbnb down. Why? Why did you burn down like the most iconic setting that this franchise had? Why would you do that? Like, what was the point? What was the purpose here? I don't know. Nobody does. Furthermore, talking more about the movie, it all kind of blends together. I watched it last week and I sort of forgot most of my talking points because the movie was just so bad. I will say this though, it is the lowest rated film of the entire Scream franchise. As of making this right now, Scream 7 has a 31% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I will be adding my negative review to this movie a little bit later tonight after we talk about it. I hope to only lower it, but it has an audience score of 76%. So obviously audiences are way more forgiving on shitty movies than critics are, and that seems to be the consensus here, and that's okay if you liked the movie. By all means, we all have our guilty pleasures, but I just think you should expect more and want more for yourself. You deserve it as a film goer. All right, so yeah, so a 31% what Scream 7 has. And a few other things I want to say about the film regarding the character of Stu. The version of Stu that you see in this film, his face is disfigured. You see scars on it. It's sort of like the interpretation of Stu I was hoping we would get. But he sort of also looks like he was sleeping on a decorative couch pillow. You know those pillows at your grandmother's house where when you take a nap, you lay on the pillow and then you wake up and you have all the imprints on your face and you look like you were in a terrible car accident or you look like Two-Face from The Dark Knight. That's sort of what he looks like in this film. But once again, he's just a deepfake character, and that really sucked. But let's talk about the big twist ending. Who are the killers this time around in Scream 7? It could be anybody. It's not Stu, but it could be anybody else. And who do we get? Well, the killers this time around, and I kind of forgot who they were. I wrote them down here. Give me 2 seconds. You get, one of them is Sydney's neighbor, who's just some crazy lady. She's a fanatic. So she dedicated her entire life to becoming one of the Ghostface killers. So there's that, you know, a bit forced and contrived. And then the other one is an orderly who works at an insane asylum, who's just some guy, and that's tying back into my previous statement about this feels like a Scooby-Doo episode, where they just unmask the janitor of the hospital, and that's the guy who's haunting the Scooby-Doo gang. And yeah, basically that's what you get. You get some guy who works at an insane asylum, and he's one of the Ghostface killers. Why? I don't know. Just because. And then there's some other guy who's a crazy guy who's one of the other killers. So the connection here is a bit weak, to say the least. And at this point, when they unveiled who the Ghostface killers were in this film, I just rolled my eyes, and I could almost feel the energy in the auditorium of everyone I was watching this movie with just escape. Just, whoa. It's like, oh, that's it. You decided to write a movie, spend millions of dollars, hire the most incompetent director you possibly could find, and this is the twist. Hollywood, folks. This is the best they have to offer. So that's Scream 7. I thought it was really bad. I'd probably just give the movie an F. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I'd give it like a 2.5 out of 10. It's not really a movie. I didn't like it. There was nothing good about it. Oh, and another thing I want to talk about was we do have some legacy characters coming back this time around. We have Courtney Cox as Gale Weathers, and I always liked her character, but the way that they introduce her into this film, it feels so heavy-handed, and that goes along with all the meta humor in this. They're just making winks and nods to past movies, and there's a certain way to do that to where it doesn't take you out of the movie. Like, I like some meta nuanced humor and some references to past things and past movies of the franchise, but the way that they do it this time around is just, it's like they're trying to make it so blatant to where even the most incompetent person who knows nothing about the franchise would pick up on what they're saying. And I don't like things like that. That just, it just kills the immersion of the film for me. And everyone in the film just looks like they're standing in front of like an overlit green screen with too much makeup on. Like nothing feels lived in. Everyone just feels like they're standing there on a stage with like too much lighting, and it looks way too digital, and they're just saying terrible dialogue. And that's Scream 7. I feel like once Dewey died, this franchise kind of died, or at least for me it did. So yeah, Scream 7. It's not very good. I didn't like it, and it's definitely not my favorite scary movie of all time. I'm going to get you like a fish. Okay, let's go to the next topic. But before we do, what did you guys think about Scream 7? Let me know down below. We got one here from Rebel Rock who says, I wish Scream 8 would do Stu be revealed as the killer at the end, and Scream 9 would be told from his perspective on how a lot of his backstory of what he's been doing since 1996. What's your power ranking of the franchise? Mine is 1, 2, 6, 3, 5, 7, 4. Mine is 1, 2, and I don't give a shit about the rest because I think they're all instantly forgettable junk. That's my ranking of the franchise of Scream. But thank you for the question, man. And hey, I would love if they could bring Stu back. But here's the problem. They brought him back as a shitty deepfake. So now, like, bringing him back again, it's not going to feel like this epic return. It's like, whoa, here's this twist. It's like, oh, yeah, we already saw him come back as a deepfake, but now he's real. Okay. It's sort of just like it killed the return that could have been. That's what should have been in this movie. And then you could do whatever you want in the next movie. So, and then the other thing is you didn't have to kill Stu off in this movie. Maybe if Stu came back as the killer, hear me out, this is just like a made-up thing from my head to you guys, but imagine if Stu was in fact the killer in this movie, right? So the big reveal is you have a couple Ghostface killers who are nobodies, like we got in the movie. But what if after that there's a little bit more, and we find out Stu is actually behind this, and he gets away with it at the end of the movie? And now we have a big baddie antagonist to carry this franchise on into another sequel. That would have been a good idea. I'm just putting it out there. You know, I made that up in 3 seconds, but then again, Hollywood just couldn't figure that out. But then again, they probably wrote the movie with ChatGPT while they were sitting on the toilet, and this is what we got. John, they originally had Stu be the killer, but test audiences didn't like it, so they changed it. Okay, so you're telling me they had Stu come back as the killer, and then test audiences were like, we don't want that. We want the random guy who's a janitor at an insane asylum to be the killer. Okay, all right. Well, we should maybe... Never mind. I can understand someone like John disliking everything after 2, but I can't take someone seriously if they love 3, 5, or 6 but hate 7. I didn't like 3. I don't remember 5. I don't remember half of them, to be honest with you. I know Hayden Panettiere was in a couple of them or something, but they're not regarded as classics. You know, when I want to watch Scream, I would watch Scream 1 or 2. I'm in the mood to watch Scream. Let's watch Scream Part 4. I've never heard anyone say that. It should have been released on Tubi. It should have been just never made. Okay. Okay. You guys want to talk about something that I did enjoy? How about that? Okay. So for the next main topic, we have to talk about the brand new movie, Project Hail Mary, which I saw an early press screening of. And by the way, check out the shirt. Amaze, amaze, amaze. Astrophage question? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should probably read the novel Project Hail Mary. And by the way, my wife made this shirt. I think it's awesome. But when it comes to Project Hail Mary, this is by far and away my favorite novel I have ever read. It's an epic space sci-fi adventure by the writer Andy Weir, who also wrote another novel called The Martian, which Ridley Scott later adapted into a feature-length film called The Martian, which I quite enjoy. I like space survival movies, and I will say Project Hail Mary sort of has a mix of The Martian meets Interstellar meets Castaway. And I thought it was a really good movie. Now, I had very, very high expectations going into this because I love the novel so much. And typically when it comes to a novel to film adaptation, there's things that you have to twist and churn and condense for the sake of the runtime, because without doing those things, you would probably watch a 9-hour movie. And I would have been okay with all of that. And after watching this, I almost feel like it would have worked better as like a 4-part limited series where you could have had like a 6-hour runtime of content. And I think that's maybe what I would have liked to have seen more. But going into this movie, I was really excited to see it. I watched it in IMAX, and I will say, as far as the visuals go of Project Hail Mary, it looks spectacular. There are some nods and some references to 2001: A Space Odyssey, just ever so slightly. And also, the other thing that I liked that they did from a technical standpoint on this film was the directors, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, the guys who directed the Lego movie and 21 Jump Street, but also were the producers on Across the Spider-Verse. What they did is they shot this digitally, but then they transferred that to actual film stock. So it has like this warm, grainy look to it, and it actually looks so much more cinematic. It's basically the same thing that Matt Reeves did with the Batman to give it that more cinematic look. And call me old-fashioned, but I still stand by movies just look better when they're shot on film. And if I can't have that, at least transfer that overly digital file to film stock so it just looks more warm and inviting and just cinematic. It's just easier on the eyeballs and looks so much better. But anyway, the synopsis to Project Hail Mary is, it follows the character Ryland Grace, a middle school science teacher who wakes up alone on a spacecraft with no memory. And then the majority of the movie is told with flashbacks to catch you up on what's going on. But along the way, he gradually discovers he's been on a mission, a desperate mission, to save the planet. Because there's these microbes that are killing the sun, which will eventually make us go extinct. Okay, that's the premise here, and it stars Ryan Gosling as Ryland Grace. And I will say, I think overall, Ryan Gosling definitely has the charisma to be this character. And keep in mind, there's not a lot of characters once you get on that spacecraft light years away. Now, I'm not going to spoil much about this movie. I don't want to spoil anything about the movie. And I'm probably going to say less than the trailers have shown you, because the trailers do introduce a secondary character that's a very big, pivotal character in the story. And I don't want to give too much away, because when I went into the novel, I didn't know that character existed until I got to that chapter. And I was like, ooh, this immensely came better. And I will say, much like the novel, the movie feels the same way. Once this character finally teams up with the character Ryland Grace, the movie becomes immensely better, and it becomes this story about camaraderie and figuring one another out. And there's some levity and some fun to be had, and there's some heartfelt moments along the way. But ultimately, it's about two dudes in one way or another who want to save their planets. And comparing the novel to the movie, I will say this. The first act of Project Hail Mary, the movie, it's very jarring, and it goes very quickly to catch you up on everything that's happening, just so the movie can finally get going into that second act. And there's a lot of explanations and a lot of backstory that the novel gives you that the movie doesn't. Where if I had just watched the movie and not known the backstory, I don't know if I would have been as invested in this journey or these characters. Because the first act of this movie is going quick. It throws a lot at you, and I almost thought it was almost slightly discombobulating. Like, my least favorite part of Project Hail Mary was probably the first act of the movie, just because I was like trying to like get settled into what was happening and kind of like get immersed into the story a little bit, and it's going quick, okay? I will say by the second act, it does slow down a little bit once you focus on the space exploration and the journey that you have up there. Now, I understand when you have a movie based on a novel, you can't have every single small plot point, every single problem that the characters encounter. You can't overly explain every single thing that's happening. And this is by no means a short film. This is a 2-hour and 40-minute movie. But man, it's moving quick in comparison to the novel, because when reading the book, there are so many scientific explanations that explain what the character's thinking and his logic and some of the problem solving. And for me, I thought that was the most fascinating stuff. But much like the Martian novel compared to the movie, they'll sum up 2 chapters of problem solving, the most technical shit you could ever think of in space, with just a line like this. So I scienced the shit out of it. And that's it. There's no backstory. It's just one line describes it all. It's overcompassing of all these details. And I get it. Once again, it's a movie for mass appeal. But man, there's definitely a handful of little plot points I would have liked to have seen in the movie. But I will say this. If you're a fan of the novel, all the main plot points and moments that you probably love from the book, they're in the movie. All of the big highlights are in the movie, and the structure and the story is ultimately unchanged. They just kind of get rid of a few things and sum some of those problems up very quickly. But my only problem with that was some of the issues that they encounter in space, and there's a lot of them, was it goes so quick to where you can't really feel the suspense. Like, oh, this is a huge problem. Let's spend a couple minutes trying to figure this out. It just all happens so quick that it's hard to get overly immersed with the suspense that the movie's trying to give you at times. But I will say, overall, the movie does play out like the book does, okay? So that's good news. They didn't bastardize it and just change everything for the sake of changing it. And I will say it's a very, very solid adaptation of the novel. I think they got everything in there that they could in the runtime, but I would have liked to have seen a few other things along the way. And I thought some of the visuals looked really spectacular, especially on IMAX when they're in space and you see different planets. You see the spacecrafts. And I will say the main difference I had from the novel to the movie was the spacecraft that Earth builds to go on this mission into space to solve this problem. It felt like 10 times bigger than it was in the book. It felt very claustrophobic in the book. There was only like 3 rooms to this spacecraft. There wasn't a lot of room to move around. But in the movie, this thing's it feels massive. It just feels like there's rooms and rooms on top of rooms and plenty of space to go around. But overall, I will say when I envisioned what the novel would look like in live action, I would say for the most part, it does look that way. I think the character designs look like they should. And the secondary character, which I will not spoil for anyone, they get that character very, very right. And if you're picking up on the shirt, you know who I'm talking about. I thought everything they did with that character, handling that character, the presentation, the characteristics, the visuals, some of the levity and the one-liners, they were all there, and I loved all of it. I could have had more of it. That's my only complaint. I just wanted more. I just wanted more of it. But overall, I think it was a good time. And I think if you like the book, you'll probably really like the movie. And I have always loved stories and movies about characters stuck in isolation that have to problem solve to save themselves, or in this case, save themselves and an alien, or save themselves and their planet. I love those types of things. I love those types of movies. They just speak to me. You know, I envision myself in that situation, and I'm by no means a scientist who could figure out what astrophage is or how to save my planet. But I like movies like that. I just think they're almost cozy to watch in a weird, terrifying, suspenseful way. So those are my thoughts on Project Hail Mary. I quite enjoyed it. It was a little bit different than I thought it would be sometimes, but when you step back and look at it, objectively speaking, I think they did a really, really good job with including the source material and making fans of the novel happy. So if I had to give the movie a grade, I'd probably give it like a solid... This is a tough one. I would give it... I'm going to give it like a A-. I'm going to give it an A-. Boop. And that A stands for amaze, amaze. Question? Anyway. But I will say, if you guys do read the novel before you watch the movie, I think it'll enhance it much more, because there's just so much more that went into that novel and the characters and the science behind what they're doing, which adds to the suspense. And the movie just moves so quick. So, all right, those are my thoughts on the movie. Let me know what you guys, are you guys looking forward to seeing Project Hail Mary? Let me know down below. Or have you read the book? The trailer for Project Hail Mary looked mid. I didn't even watch the full trailer. I refused to watch it. I think the movie, if you want a space sci-fi, I will say this. Here's the other thing I did want to say about it. When it comes to Project Hail Mary, it definitely did feel like, as far as the tone goes, they focus more on the levity than the drama. And don't get me wrong, there's a little bit of drama throughout the story, but they always keep the tone really light. And in comparison to the novel, there are multiple chapters and situations where it's pretty dark. Like, it gets pretty dark. But in the movie, they kind of skim over those things and just kind of keep it light and funny and humorous to a certain degree. And I really think that was a slight detriment. I would have wanted to see a slightly more dramatic tone in Project Hail Mary. And that was one of the things that sort of took me back when I was watching the movie. Like, I think if you've never read the novel and you watch the movie, you'll have a good time. It's like an easy movie to get through. But I just wanted a little bit more of that drama that the novel had, because there are some very depressing moments, especially with revolving around the main character, Rylan Grace, and him being sent on this mission and how he gets there. It wasn't really a joke to him. So it was very life-changing. But in the movie, they kind of just had like a comedic vibe in that entire sequence. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the movie. Avengers Doomsday got delayed, John. Did it, or is that a rumor? I don't feel like they changed the date. Did they? Someone confirm that. Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer coming out March 20th. Okay, well, hey, we'll definitely talk about it once it does. Is Project Hail Mary better than Interstellar? Somebody else asked me that question, and I think that's a good question, but the thing is, Project Hail Mary and Interstellar, though they share some similarities about saving the planet and going off on a long journey and light years away, and they're both space sci-fi epics, the tone is very different for both of those movies. I would probably say Project Hail Mary is the movie that will cater to a wider audience of young and older audience goers. And I think Interstellar might objectively be the better movie. But had they treated the novel with a little more dramatic tone for the movie, I think Project Hail Mary might have been could have been better. I do. So very different movies. I think they're comparable to some degree, but very different in tone. Hate is a strong word. Yeah, thank you, Morgan Freeman. All right, let's dive into some of your super chats here. Here we go. We got one here from Patrice. Or no, that's old. That's old. We don't. Let's go to this one here. Okay, so the first question of the night is going to come from Patrice Chaswick. Thank you so much, Patrice. Here it goes. The question is, love to hear if everyone has a movie that they physically cannot watch. Mine is Tammy. My wife's is Scott Pilgrim, Strange Women. I will be watching the replay later. Have a good night. Well, hey, thanks, Patrice. Thank you so much. So that's a great question, and that's a great question for everybody watching. What is a movie that you just can't physically stomach that makes you want to vomit when you watch it? Now, I will say Tammy could be that movie for me. It absolutely could. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, Patrice, I'm going to go with The Marvels. The movie The Marvels was one of the most underwhelming things I've ever watched in the cinema, and I couldn't believe my eyes when I was watching it. The fact that this movie cost $100 million and it got made, it looked like a straight to Disney Plus film that was made for 9-year-old little girls. It felt like it should have been made for the Disney Channel in 2010. I would probably say The Marvels. I think that's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in the theater. I just couldn't believe how bad it was. But thanks for the question, and you get a glorious party popper. All right. What are some of you? Let me know some of your worst movies that you guys just can't watch anymore, and let's turn on the graphics here. Battlefield Earth. I would say Battlefield Earth comes across like the Shawshank Redemption in comparison to the Marvels. Just putting it out there. Eternals and Marvels suck, not good promotions. Yeah, both terrible. I wish I never watched Halloween Ends. Definitely a franchise killer movie. I just don't know what it is. The people writing these movies on pre-existing characters, these should be the easiest movies to write. You know what people want to see. You already have the characters built up. You just have to make them do interesting things. But they just can't seem to do it. I don't know if uncreative people are being put in positions of power and creativity in Hollywood, and probably, because that's nothing new in Hollywood. You don't really need creativity or talent to make it in Hollywood or Tinseltown. You just need to know the right people. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And Tammy, yeah, Patrice, Tammy sucks ass. The next one here also comes from Patrice. And Patrice says, do you ever have an internal conflict to what counts as a guilty pleasure? And instead of just saying it's awesome, I love it, I've stopped saying it for movies like, example, Dukes of Hazzard, and save it for movies like Sharknado. Well, that's a very complex question with a lot of ups and a lot of downs and a lot of what have yous. What quantifies a guilty pleasure movie? Well, for me, I think it's a movie to where you can objectively say it's a bad movie, and I understand all of its shortcomings as a film. But there are things about it that I enjoy that connect with me on a personal level, or I just enjoy for the sake of enjoyment. And that's very subjective. Now, for me, I have a multitude of guilty pleasure movies, and if you guys have a couple guilty pleasure movies down below, please share them right now. Tell me your guilty pleasure movie of all time. That one movie that just takes you to your happy place, that puts a smile on your face. You know it's kind of shitty. You know it's hard to defend every once in a while, and most people would say it just sucks, but you still enjoy said movie. And for me, my answer has never changed, and it never will. That movie is the 1987 classic Over the Top, starring Sylvester Stallone. Winner takes all, loser takes the fall. Now, I think that is a fun movie. I like the dynamic between his son and him driving around in a semi across the country. And there's great 80s music by Kenny Loggins playing in the background. And the climax of that movie is an arm wrestling competition of buff dudes covered in baby oil just arm wrestling. Testosterone manliness. That's how you regain custody of your child. Not through the court. No. By an arm wrestling competition. The power of Stallone's bicep decides this. And I respect that. But also, I will say, objectively speaking, the movie Over the Top has some very cinematic shots. Like when you see Sylvester Stallone's semi driving through the hills and the scenery and the music's playing and the sun is setting. I think it looks cinematic. I think it's like beautiful at times. And then it's over the top, like the title implies, where you just have dudes slapping each other in the face, arm wrestling. But then again, realistically speaking, that's sort of how arm wrestling competitions go. Have you guys ever watched one of the modern day slap contest where people just slap the shit out of each other? That's a real contest. And I stand by this. Hear me out for a second, Hollywood, if you're watching right now. If you ever want to remake Over the Top, let's just do it kind of like the 1987 movie did, but it's not an arm wrestling competition, it's a power slap competition. And there's a little more comedy, and it's a little more self-aware than the 1987 movie was. That's all I'm saying. I would love to see that. Okay, let's see what you guys said about this question here. Mortal Kombat 1995. Hey, I don't consider Mortal Kombat 1995 a guilty pleasure. I just consider it the best video game movie ever made. Get over here. Sonya Blade. Dude, Mortal Kombat, that's a great movie. I remember watching that. I remember watching it in theaters for the first time. And by the way, Patrice, thank you for the question. Finish it with a party popper. And that's how I would finish somebody. I would party pop you, and then I'd uppercut you into the spike pit down below. But anyway, going back to my story, I remember vividly seeing Mortal Kombat 1995 in theaters. And dude, the first time that Sub-Zero and Scorpion showed up on that boat where Shang Tsung is like, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, mortal enemies, but under my command, my slaves. And just, I was like, it gave me goosebumps. Plus the opening theme to Mortal Kombat, that score, that techno score. Holy shit, they just don't make music like that anymore. Had a great soundtrack. Let's listen to it right now. I have to listen to it right now. I'm sorry. I have to listen to it. I can't talk about the Mortal Kombat soundtrack without listening to it just for a second. Oh, just put it in my veins. And I can't just listen to it. I got to move to it.
Flawless victory.
They just listen. My best advice to you is if you gotta like clean the house or vacuum the house or do anything, get into your underwear and listen to the Mortal Kombat soundtrack in the background. It'll be the most epic experience of your entire life. I promise you that right now. Okay. Let's just move on. Don't ask me what that was, okay? Okay, don't ask me what that was. Okay, I don't have to explain myself. All right, let's keep going. Thank you, Roger something, for the bat nipple emojis. Anyway, let's keep going here. The next one comes from Chris Salamu 991. How's it going, Chris? How's it going, buddy? Yo, dude, I hope we get the members chat before World War III. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. Also, I haven't gotten a chance to do it yet. On the last live show, I said, hey, how about we do a movie watch along together? Some movie that's playing for free on YouTube. We could watch it together and have a movie night together. And I still stand by that, and I do want to do it. I just think we should find a movie to watch that's playing on YouTube right now. What are some good movies playing on YouTube right now? Movies on YouTube. I don't even know how to search for this. I don't want rent to own. I want free. I guess I could type free. Yeah, you guys let me know what are some free movies playing on YouTube right now that we could watch. We could watch the Scooby-Doo movie. That would be fun, huh? We got Mean Girls. I don't know. We'll find something here. If you guys have suggestions, let me know down below. Rush Hour is free on YouTube right now. Yeah, I want to watch something better than Rush Hour. Judgment at Nuremberg, 1961. That'd be a fun movie night, huh? Nothing says fun like the Holocaust, am I right? Serenity 2005 is free on YouTube. I've watched that once. I don't know if that's... We need something bigger and dumber than all of those movies. We'll figure it out. All right, the next one comes from... Let's scroll down here. Okay, we got one here from Ralph Vanderven, 1343 says, greetings from the continent. Usually miss these streams, but the night got late, laugh out loud. Been watching you since 2019. Keep it up, John. Greetings from the continent. Well, hey, man, thank you so much. 2019, that's 7 glorious years together, so thank you for that. I'm trying to keep it up, man. The older I get, the harder it is. Let's go to the next question. The next one comes from James Dozier, who says, hey, John, my grandmother passed away a couple of days ago, so I was feeling down, but you being live tonight is making my whole day and night better. Thanks. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother, man. That sucks, man. Well, I hope she lived a long and glorious, magical life. I really do. So, hey, thanks so much, James. Thanks so much, man. And I'm glad my stupid face can bring a smile to your face. So, thank you so much, James. The next one, next one comes from James Dozier also, who says, to me, the Scream movies have jumped the shark. Oh, yeah, the Scream movies are... I don't feel like I really feel like there's still a little bit of meat on the bone with the Scream movies. I feel like there's some ideas and things that they could go and directions that would be interesting, and they just simply refuse to do those things. I think the biggest issue with the Scream movies are they need to stop focusing on Sidney Prescott's character. There's nothing wrong with having her in the background or maybe a small cameo or something in the story, but we need to stop focusing on her. At this point, what are we doing? What are we doing anymore? I don't care. I don't even care if she lives or dies at this point. We need to focus on a new character or just reboot the entire franchise and start over. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention about Scream 7 was Joe McHale plays Sidney Prescott's husband. He's like a police officer. Has he been in previous movies? If he has, I do not remember him. That's how forgettable those previous installments were to me. But he just feels so out of place in this movie. He's always in his police uniform. He's always in this police uniform. When he's at home, in bed, when he's out working, he's always dressed up like a police officer. His character's generic police guy who's married to Sidney Prescott. And they never talk or communicate throughout the entire movie. Okay. Terrible. The next one comes from Daniel Green Machine. I like that, man. John, I know you hate 4DX, but for me, I personally love it. It combines roller coasters and movies, two of my favorite things. I saw Flight Risk. It was the only thing playing and had a blast, even though the movie was okay at best. Yeah, Flight Risk. I couldn't think of a worse thing to experience than 4DX while watching Flight Risk, to be honest with you. Here's a movie about a plane crash. Let's just fucking shake the... Oh, this is great. Here, you want some popcorn? I'm having a good time. This won't give me a migraine. I hate 4DX. I hate it with a passion. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I really am. All right. I can't relax in 4DX. It's just the movements are too rigid. You know, at least some roller coasters are a little bit smooth and fun. And the great thing about a roller coaster compared to 4DX, a roller coaster ride takes like 3 to 4 minutes, not 2 hours. Like imagine being on a roller coaster for 2 hours. Probably wouldn't be that fun, would it? That's what 4DX is to me. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next one, we got one here. Where is this question at? Okay, the next one comes from, sorry, trying something new tonight, so it's a little wonky here. Okay. Mark Hickey, 9074. How's it going, Mark? And thank you for the question. Johnny Boy, happy Friday. Who you got for WrestleMania, Punk or Reigns? Also, I have to keep recommending the movie Cheap Thrills to you until you watch it, but one of the killers in Scream 7 is in it. Oh, it's probably the one dude who was in, what is his name? He was in The Wonders and National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation. Is it that guy? Anyway, he was also in the movie Can't Hardly Wait, right? Is that who you're referring to? But anyway, he's in it, so that might turn you off. You're the GOAT. Well, thank you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm nothing without you guys watching me, so I do thank all of you right now. Cheap Thrills. Didn't we talk about this before? Let me look it up. Oh, it's a TV series, right? It's, let's see. A series of escalating bets sees recently reunited friends Craig and Vince go head-to-head with challenges. Is this what you're talking about? Are you talking about, is there a movie? What is this? Yeah, it's the only thing I'm seeing. It's that? I don't know. I mean, people seem to like it. It's got 90% of Rotten Tomatoes just about, so. I'll look into it. I'll look into it at some point. I'll add it on the list. Okay, the next one comes from Gorilla Beach. How's it going, Gorilla Beach? Let's see what you have to say tonight. Hey, John. Do you often watch your 4K movies with the audio commentary from the director or main actors? And did you ever rewatch Gladiator 2, Greetings from the Netherlands? I will never, ever rewatch Gladiator 2. I will never do it. It will never happen. If I want to waste 2 hours of my life, it definitely won't be with Gladiator 2. I don't think I could watch it again and stomach watching it again. There's just nothing in that movie I would want to look at again, visually speaking or story-wise or anything else. I hated everything about that movie. But the next part of your question was, oh yeah, sometimes, every once in a while, if it's a movie that I love, I will probably watch the audio commentary from the directors. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, if it's a movie I really enjoy and I'm interested in it. You know the weird thing about audio commentary for movies, especially like movies that you love? Have you ever noticed when you're watching it and the directors and actors are there talking about the movie and there's like that really big iconic scene, you're like, I can't wait for them to talk about this scene and give me some insights to it. They just don't even like reference the scene. They're just like, oh yeah. And they just talk about something else and don't even acknowledge the scene. Have you ever noticed that? I've noticed that all the time in audio commentaries. But if you want a really good audio commentary, one that's hilarious, and it might not be for a movie that you love, but I recommend just listening to it just once for the sake of entertainment, listen to the Armageddon commentary with Ben Affleck. It's golden, man. It made me like the movie Armageddon more. All right, let's keep going here. The next one comes from let's see. Matt37201. How's it going, Matt? Here it goes. John, super chatting to talk about something important. It's time to recognize the Batman is incredibly overrated and messy. It's just cinematography porn. Now listen, I will step back and I will acknowledge that could be a fair criticism. It could be. And I think at some points in the Batman, I think there are some story beats that get a little bit sloppy and a little bit messy. And I definitely feel like there was a little room to tighten the movie up. You know, just some of the logic in the script for the movie didn't exactly make a lot of sense for me. And my least favorite thing about the movie was the some of the riddles, the mystery behind those, where Batman chases down the Penguin. He blows up 75 cars on the highway. And he does all of this to interrogate him, to ask him a really stupid question that he could have figured out the answer to with Google. And I thought to myself, well, that wasn't very well written, was it? And I get what you're saying. I do. I completely understand what you're saying. And some of the logic behind like the Riddler's plan, yeah. And I will say this, my least favorite scene in that movie, and I've said this once, I'll say it again, the scene where you have the interrogation between Batman and the Riddler in Arkham Asylum, and they're talking through the glass, and the Riddler's wearing that neck collar that looks ridiculous and comical because it looks 3 sizes too big for his head. And he starts singing Santa Maria. I can't even listen to it. I literally fast forward over that scene when I rewatch it. But I like a lot about the movie, though. That's the thing. Like, it's really good. There's just a little room for improvement. I heard your movie room smells like anchovies. Is it true? Absolutely. The best rooms smell like anchovies. Didn't you know? Dustin Rich says, when John says I'll add it to my list, that's how you know he'll definitely never watch that movie. That's not true. It's not true. It's not true at all. It's just a very long list that never seems to end. There's only so much time in the day. Has he done the Project Hail Mary review yet? Yes, I have. Scroll back. Check it out. Gladiator 2 has to be in the top 10 worst sequels of all time. Yeah, I'd definitely put it there. We never saw Stu's parents in the Scream franchise. What if they are the killers for 8 or something? Hey, by all means, make it Stu's grandparents. Make it his second uncle. I don't give a shit. As long as it's not the janitor from some random insane asylum in town, that would work. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? But they just can't. They can't figure it out. I don't know why. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And by the way, Matt, thank you for the super chat. You get a super party popper. All right, the next one comes from Rebel Rock, who says, I wish Scream 8 would do Stu be revealed as the killer at the end, and Scream 9 would be told. We already answered this. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. All right. We got one here from Gizmo Sereno, who says, hi, John. I just watched Hellraiser 7, Deader. That's what is it called? Deader? Anyway, I'd rather skip Scream 7, Greetings from Germany. I didn't watch Hellraiser 7. I never watched it, and I probably never will. It's called Deader? Oh, that's a terrible title. But hey, thanks, man, and greetings right back to Germany, man. Thanks for watching. Guggenheim. Nein. That's all I know. That's all I know when it comes to German language. That's it. Ukrainian uranium. And by the way, man, thanks for the super chat. I don't know what German ditchels are, or what's German currency called? Ditchendorfs or something? I could just sound stupid right now. But thanks for the question, man. John, have you ever seen the Swarm 1977 up at the top 10? It's so bad it's good. I have never seen the Swarm, man. But thanks for the question, Uranium Cranium. Gorilla Beach Holland 4504 says, The Crush is a guilty pleasure too. That B scene is hilarious. Ah, interesting. There's a really good B scene in the movie My Girl with Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, okay, they use euros. What am I thinking of then? Okay, the next one comes from Claudio Rogajan. How's it going, Claudio Rogajan? It's a live stream tonight, folks. All right, you guys ready for it? Remember when I said a couple months ago, it would be hilarious if your idea of Stu coming back was better than the actual movie. I wish I wasn't right, laugh out loud. Anyway, Matthew Lillard said Stu could still come back in Scream 8. Yeah, but they already fucked it up. You had your opportunity. I've already seen Scream as come back in a really underwhelming fashion, and now it's just not going to be as stimulating as I hoped it would be. I wanted that shocking return, and we did not get it. So damn you to hell, Scream 7. All right. Gorilla Beach back again says, what's your least favorite scene of Jurassic Park, and what was your favorite scene of Jurassic World Rebirth? Well, my favorite scene of Jurassic World Rebirth are when the credits hit and I could get up from my seat and take a magical pee and then leave the theater and never have to watch that movie again. That was my favorite scene of that film. I really can't think of a good scene in Jurassic World Rebirth. I genuinely can't. I mean, I know the thing to say, and I said it in my review as well. I said the best scene of the movie might be the T-Rex raft scene, but when you go back and rewatch it, it's kind of a really bad scene, and the setup to it's really incompetent. That's the best way I can put it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, the T-Rex disappears like he's Batman. And then what follows after that scene is it looks like everyone's just in a raft with a digital backdrop. It just looks so digital and artificial with studio lights shining down on them. And even that scene, which is considered the best scene in the movie, is not that good. But my favorite scene, or my least favorite scene from Jurassic Park, I don't know if I have a least favorite. I don't know if I have a least favorite scene. The thing is, when it comes to Jurassic Park, you can take some of the boring scenes in that movie. But the thing is, they have actors that are so charismatic and have such a screen presence where whatever they're saying or doing, it makes it entertaining. Just little moments stand out. Come on, little one, push, push. If Jeff Goldblum's in any scene in that movie, it's entertaining. I mean, even the expositional dialogue scenes in Jurassic Park, the original, are entertaining just because of the people saying the lines of dialogue. Like when they're all sitting around the first night that they're there eating dinner, and Jeff Goldblum's talking about how it's a bad idea, and you patented it, you packaged it, and you sold it. You sold it. It's just like that's one big expositional dialogue sequence, and they're sitting around a dinner table just eating. But it's good. It stands out. So I don't really have shoot her. Like, there's not a bad scene in the movie, man. I don't have a least favorite scene. Now, there's a couple scenes where I don't understand what the fuck happened. I'll say that. For example, when Ellie is trying to turn the power back on after Samuel L. Jackson went to do it and he disappeared. And she's like backing up and runs into his arm dangling from like a power line. I'm like, how did the Velociraptors get in there? How did they get in there to do that and bite his arm off to where it was dangling from a wire? How did that happen? I don't know. I just don't think about it. And that makes life better. But thanks for the question. Tyler Brusso says, if you had to rewatch Scream 7 or Jurassic World Rebirth on loop for 24 hours, which would you choose? You know what, Tyler? I would probably go with... Honestly, as much crap as I just talked about it, I'd probably rather watch Jurassic World Rebirth over and over. At least I can look at Scarlett Johansson being all sweaty in the jungle with some shitty CGI dinosaurs running around. Like, at least I could have that, you know? But Scream 7, what am I going to look at here? Whole bunch of people I don't care about with underwhelming Ghostface killing sequences that are just really boring to watch. And is it just me, or did it feel like Ghostface took a back seat in Scream 7? There wasn't a lot of memorable scenes where Ghostface is stalking someone or chasing them down or anything that had a lot of suspense. Like, it just everything felt so short-lived. I can't remember any of the scenes that stood out. And that's because none of them did. All right, let's keep going. The next one comes from... We got one here from Kyle. How's it going, Kyle? And Kyle says, John, do you think you'd ever be able to watch Stand By Me without shedding a man tear at the end? I probably could, but I'd have to go into the movie dehydrated so the tears didn't pour out of my eyes. Yeah, Stand By Me, man, the ending to that movie, just you reminisce about your life and the lines with Richard Dreyfuss doing the narration, just thinking about his childhood and how he never will have friends like the ones he had when he was 12 years old. Jesus, does anyone? Yeah, it's good stuff, man. And that movie just means so much more to me the older I get. So, that's a good question. Probably not. But anyway, thank you for the question. And here's a party popper just for you. All right, here you go, you morphodite. There you go. All right. It's a line from the movie. Come on. All right. Lard ass. If you guys haven't seen Stand By Me, go watch it. Better than any movie you've probably seen in the last year or two from Hollywood. A Rocky 90 says, I'm going to watch Project Hail Mary. I trust you, John. Oh, it's a good movie. By all means, it's a great movie. I mean, it's a great space sci-fi epic with a lot of levity. Two very fun, enjoyable characters interacting in space. It's a really good time. I highly recommend watching the movie. I just think the novel's slightly better. And, you know, it's hard to compete with a novel that takes 25 hours to read compared to a 2.5 hour movie. But it's a good time. I think you'll really enjoy Project Hail Mary. All right, the next one comes from Libby Films. Says, John, my Baby Driver poster came in and can't wait for it to be signed by Edgar Wright. Who would you have wanted to see? Would you have wanted to see his Ant-Man movie? Yeah, I think anything would have been better than Ant-Man Quantumania, don't you? Like, I literally think going outside and watching ants go in and out of my garage in the summertime with a magnifying glass would be much more entertaining and highly enjoyable than watching that bullshit that we got a couple years. Yeah, it was bad. It was just people in front of a green screen saying nothing. So yeah, I think Edgar Wright would have been an interesting choice. At least he would have gave it some flavor. And that's the other thing. You know, when it comes to Marvel movies, Marvel needs to step back and allow various directors to handle their movies with a different creative flair and style than everything just feeling like a Marvel movie that shares the same kind of bland vibe and style. And I think that's what would make each movie stand out and be fun and enjoyable. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be compatible with one another. I'm just saying hire a great director who's known for a certain way of directing and style, and let them tackle these various Marvel movies rather than everything just feeling generic and typical. But yeah, I think that would have been cool. But good luck with the poster, man. Hope you get it signed. And thanks for the question, Libby Films. Thank you so much. All right, the next one comes from DayQueen02, who says, "Hey, John. Decade-long fan from the UK. Well, thank you for that. I'm not even joking. We genuinely have the same job, which blows my mind slightly. What's your worst tenant/client experience?" So you also do home inspecting as a day job? Interesting. I haven't really had any bad experiences. I've had one client who followed me around the entire time during the inspection, which is fine. But the thing was, it was like negative 20 degrees out, and I felt really bad for her. And she wasn't wearing gloves or like winter jackets, and I'm wearing like a ski mask and gloves, and I got hand warmers and everything. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be outside for like the next hour. You're gonna turn into a popsicle if you hang out. She didn't care, so that just was kind of like the one that felt the most awkward, because I was just like, this girl is literally dying beside me right now as I inspect this house in the freezing cold weather. And I'm like, I got to take my time. So, sorry. All right. So that's maybe one of them. I've had a couple inspections where you walk into a house and you're just like, this should be condemned. But then you spend the next 3 hours detailing every imperfection and every defect that the house has to offer. And it feels like it's never ending. You take one step, it's like, oh, that's broken and doesn't work. Okay. Oh, that's broken and doesn't work. So I've had a few instances like that. But thanks for watching, man, for the last decade. Well, here's to another decade, because I'm not going anywhere. So thank you, man. Okay. The next one comes from Jeremy Miller, who says, John, Jeffrey Epstein alleged account he played Rocket League on was active less than 3 days ago. How does that make you feel? And what could have been, and what? Okay. You're giving me an aneurysm here, man. What are we saying? Jeffrey Epstein's alleged account he played Rocket League on was active less than 3 days ago. How does it make you feel that you could have been playing Rocket League with or against Epstein in the past week? Well, you know what? I have not played Rocket League in the past week, but I have a feeling I would kick Jeffrey Epstein's ass at Rocket League. Oh, I would destroy him. I would leave him out to dry. I'd hang him with the laundry if he didn't hang himself in that prison cell. And by hang himself, I mean someone else did it when they turned off the video cameras, and we should release the Epstein files. I'm just putting it out there. Everything's redacted. But yeah, I don't know how to respond to that question, man. I really don't. All right. Jeffrey Epstein seems like he'd be more of a Call of Duty guy. Just putting it out there. All right. The next one comes from DayQueen02. Can you talk us through how viscerally excited you were for The Dark Knight Rises at the time, and how that first theater experience was watching it? You seemed legitimately elated months in advance. That's a great question. Okay, well, let's go back in time, shall we? Let's go way back in time and talk about the experience, the hype, and the lead up going into The Dark Knight Rises, if we shall. I remember watching the trailers for The Dark Knight Rises, and I just could not wait to see the movie. The fact that Tom Hardy was playing Bane just gave me everything I needed to see or wanted to see. And going into The Dark Knight Rises, I drove 3 hours. I saw the movie with Chris Stuckman at an early press screening. I stayed the night at his shitty apartment, which just I remember sleeping on a mattress that had bloodstains on it or something. I don't know. Anyway, we go to see The Dark Knight Rises, packed theater, could not wait, super hyped, and I was into it. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I enjoyed the experience. And was it the movie that I had hoped it to be? I guess more or less. There was definitely some questionable stuff. And upon rewatching the movie 150 times since its initial release, there are some things about that movie that I don't love that much. I think some of it feels a little like it felt like Nolan paid the least amount of attention to detail when it comes to The Dark Knight Rises in comparison to any of his other movies. Like all the fight scenes outside where you have the groups of police officers fighting with the evil henchmen, and they all have AK-47s around their waist or their torsos, but they're just punching each other. Some of the fight choreography was completely atrocious, but I liked Bane quite a bit. I liked his voice. I liked the symbolism of the pit that Bruce Wayne is in. And then he climbs out of. I liked certain aspects of it. I liked Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, but it just felt kind of like a sloppy movie, and it still feels like a sloppy movie with a lot of great moments in it. And I remember after the movie was over, I think we went and got food, and we shot our reviews for the movie. And yeah, that's The Dark Knight Rises, man. I'm probably missing some intimate details there, but that's all I remember. I'm crashing this plane!
When Gotham is ashes, you have my permission to die.
Wait, what else does he say? What else does Bane say?
Ah, the darkness betrays you because it belongs to me.
Anyway, let's keep going. The next one comes from Jesus Salcedo. How's it going, Jesus? How you doing tonight? And thanks for the question. Here it goes. Hey, John. YouTube never notifies me when you go live. Well, that's because the algorithm hates me. You just can't trust YouTube. If you subscribe to people, sometimes it shows up in your sub box, sometimes it doesn't. It sort of YouTube shows you what it wants to show you, so I'm sorry for that. My best advice to you is just follow me on social media. I will announce it on Instagram. I'll try to announce it on my main channel. Click the stupid notification button, even though it works half the time. Give this shit a like. Maybe it'll show it to you next time. That's my best advice, man. But typically, if we do go live, it'll be on a Friday night, so look out for that. But here it goes. Let's answer the question. Anyway, I know this is going to sound like hearsay, but I've never watched Terminator 2 or Mad Max Fury Road. Also, Stranger Things is irrelevant now. Well, the thing is, everything that happens more than 3 days ago is irrelevant on the internet now, which is sort of just depressing in a way. It's why I don't make a lot of content. I'm like, yeah, I could spend a lot of time making this and talking about it, but no one cares tomorrow. So ultimately, what's the point? We're all self-absorbed, living in our own universes, and we don't really give a shit about what anyone is saying. We don't. We care about it for a microsecond, and then we move on. And ultimately, none of it really matters. But then again, isn't that life in a nutshell? Let's continue on. Because nothing I just said will matter in about 5 minutes. But I do agree with you. Stranger Things, man. It's like the hype was there. It lasted a couple days, and it's just like, poof, gone. Where did it go? We all have the attention spans of gnats now. I blame social media. I really do. I think we should delete TikTok right now. I'm sorry. We should. Long-form content for life. But here it goes. What else did you say? Now, I have a question for you, Jesus. I have a very, very important question. How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, have you never watched Terminator 2 or Mad Max Fury Road? Two of the most quintessential best action movies ever made. What are you doing? So first and foremost, you need to immediately watch Terminator 2. You need to go watch it right now. You have to. You just have to. That's it. You have to. And then after you watch it, promise me you're not going to kill anyone. And then go watch Mad Max Fury Road. I think you'll quite enjoy that as well, man. But thanks for the question. And here's a party popper for you, but I don't know if you deserve it because you have not. If you haven't watched Terminator 2, man, I don't know what you're doing here right now, but there you go. Please go watch it. All right. Mark Hickey, how's it going, Mark? Johnny Boy, happy Friday. Who you got for WrestleMania? Did I answer this already? Oh, I think I'm sorry. I missed answering this question. I missed this part of the question. I'm sorry, Mark Hickey. I will answer this now. Okay. So who do I have for WrestleMania? Punk or Reigns? I don't know. I think CM Punk's title reign, it's sort of getting a little stagnated and stale. So I think CM Punk should lose it and chase after it. I think Roman Reigns should probably win it. But then again, he only shows up like once a month. And we already saw the title in Roman Reigns for like 3 years. So ultimately, I don't really care who wins or loses that match. That's just the honest truth. I don't care. I think there needs to be some kind of twist or some kind of swerve with the match. If CM Punk's going to be around for a while, I mean, maybe him winning it solidifies him. But I think Roman Reigns winning it and CM Punk chasing him for the title for the next couple months, or maybe till they get to like SummerSlam and they can have like a triple threat match, or I don't know. I think maybe Roman Reigns winning it would be the right choice right now. I think that'd be the right choice. But what do I know? All right. Let's go to the next one here, and the next one comes from. You guys are killing it with the questions. I need to go quicker, don't I? Oh, here we go. We'll skip to this one real quick. We got one here from a glorious friend of the channel and a buddy of mine who once watched me sleep. And if you've seen the movie Project Hail Mary or know the story, when you watch someone sleep, it's the most friendly thing you can do. 3C Films, how's it going, buddy? He says, John, thank you for all the inspiration. You are a true inspiration, the goat of YouTube, my true inspiration. Every idea that I now utilize originally came from you. So thank you for planting those seeds. Thank you so much. I'm kidding. He didn't say all of that, but he should. But here's what he really said. He says, thank you for streaming this week. I've been needing goon material. Give me your ideal direction from Scream 8. Man, you got plenty of material. I sent you all the pictures you wanted, man. I know what you want. 3C loves those feet pics. Just putting it out there. But anyway, thanks for the question, man. And if I had to go a direction with Scream 8, what I would do is I would focus on new characters. First and foremost, the fact that they let Jenna Ortega go from this franchise is a real big disservice because they had an actress who could probably carry this franchise for a handful of movies. And Jenna Ortega has a screen presence. She has some charisma. And I think they need to get her back, pay her whatever she wants, somehow, some way, get her back into this franchise. Let the legacy characters take a backseat to a certain degree. They should have had Stu be the killer. They should have. And maybe they can force that into the next movie, but it's not going to mean as much as it could have this time around. And I think you need to have some motivation. You need to have motives for the killers doing these things. It can't just be, I'm the second best friend of the guy who was the killer in part 4. You can't do that shit anymore. Make it better. That or just completely reboot Scream. And judging by the reception of Scream 7 and the Rotten Tomatoes score of Scream 7, and the fact not very many people liked Scream 7, I think we could just potentially reboot it or step away from the universe where it's at right now and just focus on an entirely different group of people. And if you want my honest opinion, reboot this shit. Here's a thought, and maybe this isn't the most original concept ever made, but I don't like modern day horror movies. I just don't like them. I think they're boring, and I don't like when you have social media as an aspect of a horror film. To me, it's just not enjoyable. I want to suspend my disbelief, and I want to be encapsulated into this horrific, suspenseful universe with a little bit of meta humor or meta-ness to it. So hear me out for a second. What if we just go back in time? Let's just go way back in time. What if we reboot the Scream franchise and we start out in like 1990? We go to 1990 when Blockbuster was still a thing, corded phones were still a thing, and we focus on that. Don't you just feel like that time period would lend itself better for a Scream movie? Like just the atmosphere and the vibe of people interacting. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. And here, let's keep going with this. Okay. But then, with each additional installment of this, we find out that this rebooted Scream franchise, get ready for it, was in fact a prequel leading up to the 1996 film. Yeah? I think there's a way to do that. Now, that's a stupid idea from me to you guys. I just made it up off the top of my head, but doesn't that just sound more interesting? And if it doesn't, well, tell me it sucks. Best horror movie, The Exorcist from Uranium Cranium. Great horror movie, hard to rewatch often. Dustin Rich says, I can't look at Jenna Ortega's face anymore. Hey, she let her eyebrows grow back. It's all good, man. Hey, John, who was your favorite and least favorite guest on Movie versus Movie? I'm trying to think. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about movie fights for a second. Yeah. So I did a show, a web series called Movie versus Movie for the Screen Junkies Network. And you might not have seen it because it was behind a paywall. If you Google Movie versus Movie, I think you can find 1 or 2 episodes that are on YouTube. As far as my least favorite guests, I don't remember any guests that were my least favorite. And I can't remember the name of all the guests I had on Movie versus Movie because each episode I would have 2 guests and I would shoot like 4 to 8 of those episodes in one day when I was there in LA. So we would shoot I think we shot like 12 episodes over the course of like 2 or 3 days. And I can't even remember what the fuck happened in them, to be honest with you. Like we did them so quick, I cannot remember or decipher what happened. But I had Mark Ellis on there. I had everybody that you see on YouTube on there all the time. John Roca was on there. Dude, I don't think I had a bad guest. I really don't. You know, if anything, maybe I could have been a better host. But yeah, so it was a really good time though. I really enjoyed doing it. But I do remember this about doing it. When I went there I did 2 seasons of it. And when I went back for season 2, I think I had just gotten this really bad like sinus infection. And I just was all stuffed up and my voice was raspy. And I felt like I had a fever that went on for like 3 weeks. So I went to LA. I shot Movie versus Movie. I did like 12 episodes. And like I would get so sweaty talking because keep in mind, it's in a little studio with 1,000 lights and like 10 people. And it gets to be like 110 degrees in there. And plus, I was all buff at the time, so I'm already sweaty as it is. But man, I just felt like I was pouring sweat. I had to change my shirt in between each episode because that thing was soaked. Disgusting. So that wasn't fun. I think that was my least favorite guest. The virus I was getting over. Mr. Ims says, you're an American that makes me hate the U.S. slightly less right now and believe there is still hope. Well, thank you for that. I thought you were going to go a radically different direction with your comment. I thought you were going to say I make you hate it more. And I'm okay with that. But thank you for that, man. Thank you so much. Jeff Hostman, okay, here's where he craps on my Scream idea. Let's see what he has to say. Nah, it won't make any sense since already made movies in the 90s. There's no relation to Scream 1. I think they just should have canceled it and end it with no resolution, kind of pointless. I disagree with that. Why couldn't they make like reboot it to take place 6 years before the first movie? But don't say you're doing that. Just start it off in 1990 and call it Scream. Why can't we do that? Anyway, and I'm not saying the killer is still Ghostface. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like there's a whole new killer, a whole like with different motives. They can base it on 1980s horror movies or something. I don't know. I mean, keep in mind, like, the 80s horror slashers were the most iconic horror movies of all time. So I think, like, starting off in the 1990s, right at the end of that peak decade of cinema when it comes to horror films would be, like, perfect. Just putting it out there. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Jam's Arm. Well, thanks for the question, Jam's Arm. Here it goes. Hey there, John. Do you know Buffalo Bill's house outside Pittsburgh is now an Airbnb complete with movie-accurate decorations and the well? Make it a flick trip. I did know that. I didn't know if they had the basement and the well in the house. I thought the house didn't even have a basement or something like that. But here's your party popper. What? It puts wait, let's start that over. It puts the party popper. Wait, no. What can we say here? It pops the party popper. It does this whenever it's told. All right. Anyway, let's check out the Buffalo Bill Airbnb house. What do you guys say? I'm in the mood for it. Let's check this bad boy out. Ooh, baby. Okay, I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking at here. Okay, here's the Buffalo Bill house on Airbnb. Okay, you got the living room there looking all sexy. I like the ornate furniture. Timeless. Okay. I want to see the basement, though. Let's see where it gets into. I like the pictures on the wall. Okay, it better have a basement. Where's the... Okay, here's the backyard. Cool. I see cellar doors right there. Let's see if we can go into the basement here. It's got an arcade. I definitely think if Buffalo Bill was a lot, like if it had taken place in present day, Buffalo Bill definitely would have had a Simpsons arcade one-up cabinet in his house. Just putting it out there. That and a lampshade made out of nipples right beside it. Ooh, I like the Hannibal Lecter statue right there. That's pretty sweet. Ooh, baby. Oh, baby. Look at that. Oh, that's where I'm sleeping. Right there. Right there. I'm going to put the lotion on all night. Oh, that is sexy. Is this actually a basement? Or I feel like this is like in the garage or something. Anyway, looks like a basement. There's some ductwork right there. Oh, I love it. Okay, so they got a small little basement there with like a little well in it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would like to check that out. I definitely would. Looks pretty sweet though. I'm not gonna lie. I would definitely check. They also have they have an X-Men mansion Airbnb house that looks pretty sweet as well. That looks pretty legit, but it's decorated after the X-Men animated series from the actual 90s cartoon, and that looks pretty cool. They also have the Stranger Things house down in Atlanta. That looks okay. I don't know if I'd go all the way down there to check it out, but all right. I'll tell you what, if somebody rents the Buffalo Bill Airbnb, I'll tell you, if one of you rent the Buffalo Bill Airbnb, if you invite me to stay the night and you promise not to murder me, and I will promise not to murder you. I'm not saying I'm not going to put you down in a well. You invite me to that and I will show up. You give me a time and a place. I'll be there. Okay? All right. Let's keep going here. The next one comes from, we got one here from Darren. Let me zoom in so I can see. We got one here from Darren Lally, 9386, who says, "Hey, John, I watched You Were Never Really Here recently and wanted to know your thoughts on it. Big fan of the channel, and thanks for the content." Well, thanks, Darren, so much. Let's look this movie up because I can't think about what it is. What is it called? You Were Never Really Here. Have I seen this? Okay, when a teenage girl goes missing, a jaded, brutal enforcer attempts to rescue mission. He uncovers corruption, abuse of power along the way, and will use any means necessary to save the girl. I don't think... Have I seen this movie? I don't... Man, this looks familiar. I don't think I've seen this. With Joaquin Phoenix, I don't think I've seen it. I'm going to say I haven't seen it. I have not seen this movie. It's got pretty good ratings, though. Have you guys seen this? Do you like it? It's got an 89% Rotten Tomatoes. IMDb a 6.7. Letterboxd 3.7 out of 5. So let me know. Is it a good movie? Is it worth watching? Roger something says fan meetup event at Buffalo Bill's house. Hey, listen, if one of you want to rent the Airbnb to Buffalo Bill's house, I will do a fan meetup. I promise you I will make it happen, okay? So where will it tickle you when you're on the slab? Oh, yeah. Oh, she was a big old fat lady, wasn't she? Why not make it a members only get together? Hey, by all means, someone book that shit. Okay. They have a Nancy house from Nightmare on Elm Street. That'd be pretty cool. Is that in California, though? I know that's where the Nightmare on Elm Street house is. Batman v Superman is the best movie ever. Oh, I wouldn't go that far. All right, the next one comes from, let's see. Rubber Rock, thanks for the $2 tip, man. No question, but thank you so much. Oh, Rubber Rock. Okay, you're back here again. Here we go. Rubber Rock says, my wife loves Matthew McConaughey. Well, whose wife doesn't? All right, all right. What's your favorite movie of his? Mine is Lincoln Lawyer or Ed TV. Have you seen Ed TV? It's an underrated gem from the 90s. I have seen Ed TV. That also came out around the same time The Truman Show did. And they kind of had like a very similar concept ever so slightly. Very slightly. I don't remember much about it. My favorite thing, favorite Matthew McConaughey movie. I liked his performance in the movie Mud that came out in 2013. I thought that was a really good performance. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I thought he did good in Interstellar. I liked him in True Detective quite a bit. I liked his character in True Detective a lot, especially that one sequence where he goes into the subsidized housing apartments and it's a one-take tracking shot. I thought that was really awesome. But I liked his character in that because he's a flawed character, and I like flawed characters that are smart. Man, Dazed and Confused, obviously. they keep getting younger and I just keep getting older. It's like, all right, man. And the more time that goes on, the more illegal that sounds. I'm trying to think of another great Matthew McConaughey movie that I enjoy. Oh, I'll tell you a really underrated Matthew McConaughey movie. How about that? I'll tell you one. If you guys have never seen this movie, super great underrated movie. It's called Two for the Money with Matthew McConaughey and Al Pacino. Hoo-ha, motherfucker. I don't want the labor pains. I just want the baby. But anyway, I think you guys should definitely check it out. The premise for the movie is after suffering a career-ending injury, a former college football star aligns himself with one of the most renowned touts in the sporting gambling business. Touts? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, basically what he does is he guesses the outcomes and uses predictions, and that's his job. And people call in to get his advice, like people who are addicted to gambling. It's a great movie, really underrated. Definitely check it out. Came out in 2005. It's called Two for the Money. So I think you'd rather enjoy it. So that's one of my favorite Matthew McConaughey movies as well. Uranium Cranium says, John, will you bring your Hannibal hockey mask? I'll get a Hannibal hockey mask. You bet on it. Dustin Rich says, for me to poop on? What are you talking about, Dustin? What are you doing? What are you doing, Dustin? You got to get wet wipes if you're going to go that far. All right, the next one comes from, let's see here. We got one from Mark Hickey, 9074, who says, thoughts on Scorsese's After Hours. I've watched After Hours one time. I watched it once, probably a couple years ago. I think it was by the recommendation of you guys here. And I thought it was okay. I genuinely don't even remember what the hell happened in the movie. I remember this guy's having like a really bad night. A series of things happen. He meets this girl. I don't remember much else about it. I watched it like 3 years ago. I think because somebody mentioned it on the live show. I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. I just don't remember that much about it. And when I watched it, I thought to myself, well, there's probably a good reason I've never seen this. It's just like, it's okay, but I won't remember this, and I haven't. Oh, God. I'm glad someone asked this. Did you see the Lanterns trailer? It looks like an interesting small-town crime drama, but nothing like a Green Lantern show, oddly enough. Yes, so I did watch the trailer for Lanterns, which looks more like Hell or High Water with people who can fly. That's what the Lanterns trailer looks like. It looks like it was produced by the same guy behind Yellowstone. Like, it looks like a Ty Sheraton production or something. Like for the first half of it, I'm like, is this the right trailer? Did I click the wrong thing? Is this just a Paramount Plus show that's called Lanterns? And I'm just not making the connection. Now, I will say, when it comes to a very subdued TV show that's not very comic booky looking, I can almost respect some of the creative direction it's going for. But then again, you have a show called Lanterns. You have a fan base already built in for it. Just why don't you kind of give them what they want? Just call me crazy. And then when they showed the Lantern suit, which, by the way, it looked so monochromatic. It was like baby shit, dog crap yellow. It didn't even look green. And it's like, hey, if you want to make it muted, by all means, you don't need this bright neon green thing like Ryan Reynolds would wear in 2011. You don't need that. But at least make the thing green. And then at the end, where you had Hal Jordan, which, by the way, he's played by I forget the guy's name. He's been in a ton of shows and movies. He was in Wolf of Wall Street. I think he plays a really good sarcastic asshole version of Hal Jordan, especially an older version of him. But that ending sequence where he flew up into the sky, it just didn't look very good, did it? Like, this is the trailer you're trying to hinge the show on to get people excited for. And you're just going to, he flies up into the air like it's a TV show from the 1980s. Like, what is this? So anyway, yeah, I saw it, man. I saw it. And with all that said, I'm mildly intrigued to at least give it a try. You know, and the other thing it kind of looked like, along with feeling like Hell or High Water in this small town, and this looks like a Texas small town or something. It also had you could tell it was inspired by True Detective just a little bit. There was a little bit of that in there as well. You know, and hey, if they were to pitch me on saying, hey, this is True Detective meets Green Lantern, but at least it looks kind of like Green Lantern a little bit, I think that would have been like the right approach. So those are my thoughts on the Lanterns trailer. What did you guys think about it? Let me know. Dustin Rich says, Lanterns seems like it's embarrassed by its own premise. Yes, it looked like the people making it did not want to make anything to do with Green Lantern. So they're like, we're going to have this buddy team up detective show. But guess what? They have superpowers. And that's it. It would be the equivalent of making True Detective, but Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, when they put on their magical rings, they have superpowers. And that's what they're going for here. Except it doesn't look as good as True Detective, you know? So, John, would you like to live in a Texas chainsaw house? Would I like to live in the Texas chainsaw house? Probably not. No. Absolutely not. Is the smell of decaying meat? No, thank you, man. All right, the next one comes from Radzik, or is it Radzik 7522 says, hello from Ireland, watching you since 2010. When I was 16, I'm now 32, married and a dad to 2 boys, man. Well, hey, congrats to you and thanks for watching. What's the first movie you would watch with your kid and why? Well, I mean, for obvious reasons, Silence of the Lambs. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you ingrain into a small child's brain, this is why you don't get in the back of some random dude's van because you end up in a well putting lotion on your skin. If I can scare my children with that movie and keep them safe, I will do it. So that's the first movie. The second movie, oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe some Toy Story movies or something like that. Probably some classic animated movies that I love. But I will say this. I'm going to start my kids off on R-rated movies at probably like the age, we'll call it 6, we'll call it 7, depending on the movie, right? If it's just graphic violence like Terminator or something, or Jurassic Park, which is PG-13, I think those movies are fine. I think those are fine R-rated movies to show younger kids. As long as it's just machismo action, I think that's okay. You know? I'll save Boogie Nights till they're 10. How's that? But yeah, those are a couple. I'd probably show them some classic Disney movies that I love. Stuff like that. But thanks for watching, man. Here's to another decade. So thank you so much. All the way to Ireland. All right. Let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from 1982 Seb, who says, hi, John. What's the worst movie you've seen this year so far? Scream 7? Scream 7's probably the worst movie I've seen this year. Okay, now I'm going to... Well, okay, January had some shit, didn't it? Yeah, it had some shit. Mercy with Chris Pratt was pretty bad. That was a pretty bad movie. But I think Scream 7 is worse. I really do. Because it had so... See, when I judge what, like, the worst movie of the year, I don't just pick, like, Sharknado Part 9. I don't pick that. I pick the movie that could have been better, that had everything it needed to be better, but just was a catastrophic failure of cinema. And for me, like, thus far, that would be Scream 7. Like, Mercy was like, I didn't expect anything from it. It looked like a made-for-streaming movie. But I think Scream 7 was worse than Mercy. I really do. Uranium Cranium says, have you ever inspected a house like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house? Yes, I have. I inspected a house. This was like 4 months ago. I was there for 4.5 hours. And this house was just like imploding into the ground. It was built in 1899. It kind of did look like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. And the basement looked like the basement from Buffalo Bill's house. There was even a well in the basement, and it looked like a dungeon. Like the floor was made out of gravel and dirt, and there was all kinds of like pipes and ductwork, and it had an old furnace from like 1945. It was creepy as shit. So yes, I have, and keep in mind, I have to wander around in the dark down there with a flashlight on my head, trying to figure out what everything is and where it's at and what's wrong with it. So yeah, that's pretty fun. And you're just waiting to find like a body somewhere. And sometimes I hope I do. So that's probably the worst. And thanks for the question. You get a party popper. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Chad Hagen, 2933 says, what is a novel you want to be a movie or a series? I don't know, man. The fact that we got Project Hail Mary, that was what I wanted to see. I'm trying to, you know what it is? I'll go back in time with you here and hear me out for a second. So the movie The Meg, starring Jason Statham, that originally was a novel. There was like 3 novels. It was called The Meg, right? By the writer was Steve Alton. And when I read that for the first time back in like 2008, it was this epic under the sea adventure that felt like it would have been a movie directed by James Cameron. It felt like The Abyss meets Jaws meets I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what else. It's just the most epic journey of all time, where you have these laboratories under the ocean in the trench, and there's like scientific logic of how it exists, and the characters are really cool, and it was really suspenseful. And when I was reading that novel, I was like, this could be like a $500 million James Cameron epic movie. And then years later, we get The Meg, starring Jason Statham, that just feels like a made for Amazon Prime $5 DVD movie that was a joke. And it took that source material and just made it goofy and stupid. And that was really disappointing. So that could have been a cool movie. It could have been, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was. Yeah, The Meg was a novel, man. It was good. Here, let me find it. Yeah, it was a novel. It was sweet, man. It was a good read. I quite enjoyed it. Like that's kind of like that's my introduction to it right here. And it was like, I think they had 3 parts to it. But the movie sucked. The movie it was nothing like the book. Nothing. So, John, what if someone kidnaps you while you're inspecting their house? I guess that's a small... If someone puts me in their well, I guess I'm just going to have to deal with it. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Lee B Films. How's it going, Lee B Films? Let me take a sip of this beverage here. If you had to choose any comic book character that had a shitty movie or hasn't had a movie, who would it be? I'd say Green Hornet. If you had to choose, wait, if I had to, what do you mean? If I had to choose any comic book character that had a shitty movie or hasn't had a movie, who would it be? What do you mean choose? Like, am I choosing to remake the movie or be that person? You know the thing about the Seth Rogen, I'm the Green Hornet. I thought the Green Hornet movie, I don't think it's very good, but I thought it was okay for what it was. Like, I thought it was okay for what it was. That's as nice as I can be about it. I just hit my microphone. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a comic book character that hasn't had a movie that should. Oh, I don't know. We've kind of seen every single comic book character come to the big screen in one incarnation or another, haven't we? I mean, for me, I don't care. Like, just keep giving me Batman movies. I don't care. Keep giving me, I just want those. That's what speaks to me. That's the kind of character I like when it comes to comic book characters. I like the grounded grittiness of the character who's conflicted, you know, that uses gadgets and his smarts with a little bit of physical strength and prowess, who just so happens to be a billionaire and dresses like a bat. You know, that's what I like to see. Just give me more Batman movies. If I chose to remake it, okay, so I'm remaking this. Let's remake Catwoman with Halle Berry. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to think of a good answer for your question here, man. I don't know. There's been some good comic book movies featuring some of the characters I would like to see. I mean, I guess you could remake some Ghost Rider movies a little bit better than what Nick Cage did. What's that in the bag? A shark or something? Wonder Woman needs a better movies. Yeah, but I'm not that into Wonder Woman to say I want more Wonder Woman movies. You see what I'm saying here? Like, give me more Wolverine movies. Give me some more X-Men movies. Give me more Batman movies. Give me, give me a new Blade movie. Like, that could be kind of cool. How about that? Jonah Hex? Yeah, but you'd have to be into Jonah Hex, and I'm just not. That is one of the worst movies ever made. Megan Fox, though, top notch in that movie. Hulk, I disagree that Hulk has never had a great movie. I think The Incredible Hulk from 2008 is a fine little Hulk movie. I do. I think it's fine. Could it be better? Absolutely. Absolutely, it could be. Give me a Zack Snyder Hulk movie? Ooh, I don't know about that, man. I don't know if I could handle all that right now. But anyway, thanks for the question, man. And do I not have another? Am I out of party? How did we blow through all those party poppers? Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab another one. Just 2 seconds, I promise. Okay, we're back. Here's your party popper. All right, the next one comes from Dustin Rich, who says, how would you rate Event Horizon? I'd give Event Horizon, for coming out in 1997, being kind of like a fun little sci-fi movie with some suspense in it. It's been a long time since I've seen it. That movie and Sphere came out like within the same year of each other. Another one of those combo Hollywood movies that kind of share the same vibe a little bit. Event Horizon was a good time, man. That was Sam Neill, right? I'd give it like a B-, C+. I think it's a good late night movie to watch every once in a while, but I have not seen it in so long. The next one comes from Lee B. Films, who says, John, when I become famous, can I add you to my celeb friend group along with Kevin Smith, Nick Cage, and John Cena? Absolutely. I will be the the least talented one of the bunch, but I'll be there. So thank you, man. Please do invite me, and I'll bring a party popper, and I'll shoot it right at John Cena's face. The next one comes from Cali2 Zone 32, who says, who'd win in a fight between Rocky and Bale's Batman? I mean, I think Rocky, he's got the boxing chops, but man, Bale's Batman, I mean, he's a ninja who can take on 10 men at one time, not to mention the gadgets, and he has a butler. So I'm going to go with Bale's Batman. I think he might win that fight, but I think Rocky's probably he might be the better fighter, to be honest with you. The guy can take a punch. Hey, I'll know, you're Batman, but hey, I got these fists over here, I'll know, You're a rich kid, I grew up in Philly, I just put it out there, But I'll go with Batman. Who was your favorite opponent on movie fights? I've always loved the Stuckman fight. Yeah, maybe Stuckman. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time. I don't know. I went up against Mark Ellis. I went up against Andre from Black Nerd Comedy. There was somebody else there during that fight too. That's a good dude. Do movie fight? Are they still on YouTube anymore? Did they get taken down? Let's see. Let's see if I can find some of these movie fights. I can't even find movie fights anymore. So yeah, I'd go with those. I'd go with those two people. Dustin Rich says, was Conan O'Brien the best late night host ever? For me, Conan O'Brien was the funniest. I always liked his humor and his style a little bit more. I just liked his subtleties and his kookiness. And he didn't feel as commercialized as like someone like Jay Leno did. And David Letterman, I could never watch. He's too dry for me. I don't think he's funny. I've never heard a funny thing, David Letterman. I've never heard him say anything funny. Libby Film says, Paul W.S. Anderson tends to rip off movies. Like which movies? Give me an example. I tried to rewatch Sphere. I couldn't do it. Yeah, with Sharon Stone. It's not a very good movie. John, who came off as a bigger dickhead in person, Campia or Roca? Both of them seem unbearable. So Roca was super nice. I have no complaints with John Roca. I've only met him like once or twice. He was always really nice and pleasant to me. John Campia, I think I've only seen at a theater once in LA. I've never interacted with the guy. I've heard stories of people who have interacted with him, and the feedback that I've received was he's a bit pretentious. He's a bit pretentious, His universe is this. This is his universe. A 3 feet radius surrounding him, and nothing else matters outside of that. But if you're popular and you have some fame, he'll notice you. That's what I've heard. But that's it. That's hearsay. They're still on YouTube. I've done massive rewatches recently. Yeah, let's movie fights. Movie fights. I mean, here's this one. Let's see.
Just look at a picture of that guy. You cannot see.
I wish I could do movie fights again. I think I'd be so much better at it than I was. Oh, cool. An ad. Great. All right. Yeah, no, it was a good time. This was the first one I ever did. And the thing is with movie fights, they tell you the topics the night before so you can come up with a few ideas. And I remember I was in my hotel room just like scribbling down ideas or some like some good ideas or some rebuttals if someone else had another idea. And I remember like halfway through the show, I wasn't even looking at it. I was like, why did I even write any of this shit down? But yeah, it was a good time. Let's see here. The speed around, that'll kill you. Dude, it's stressful being on that show, man. It really is. It's intense. Like the lights are there, it's live. You're trying to be witty and funny, you know, kind of like I'm trying to do right now during a live show, but you just, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. So good times. Yeah. All right. Dan Merle, one of the guys. Yeah, Dan was always a nice dude. I've met Dan when I was in LA many of times. Dan was a guest on my show, Movie versus Movie. Let's see if I go to Instagram here, I can show you a picture. No, Dan was always a cool guy, man. I'll scroll down for about 25 minutes till we find this. That Andy dude fell off hard. What happened to him? Actually, you know what? Andy, I think, found more success talking about the biggest trending topics on Google, like when it comes to like Britney Spears meltdown and the what else was there? The Johnny Depp drama with Amber Heard. That's what he talks about now on YouTube, and it does way better than movie shit does. I'll tell you that. The movie space is dwindling. It's becoming more niche. But I'm doing all this to find a picture of hanging out with Dan Merle. What's wrong with me? Hang on. So many years to scroll back on. So many different places I've lived. Hang on here. I'll let you guys watch what I'm doing here. I'm scrolling back through the timeline of my life here. By the way, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, please do, at the Flickpick. All right. Let's see. I got to get back into the gym. Look at that. Yeah, here's me and Dan Merle right there, man. Good times. Good times. And here's me with Mark Ellis. Hal Rudnick. So yeah, good times, man. Here's me holding a Wonder Woman Barbie doll. Don't ask questions. Here's me in a box for a Transformers review. So yeah. And here's my favorite picture of all time. Me and Jake Gyllenhaal just hanging out in Zurich, Switzerland. Just best friends, no big deal. He's probably watching right now. He's too embarrassed to leave a super chat, though. All right, let's keep going here. How much for you to do a Campy impersonation for the rest of the show? I mean, I don't know, like $99.99? It's hard to keep that up. And for our next main topic, now listen here. In that episode with Brett and Stuckman was so moody. Yeah, he's moody. He gets moody sometimes. The guy in the middle with the beard, I haven't seen him in years. He has a YouTube channel. Roger something says, new movie fights was uploaded 10 days ago. Maybe message them to see if you can get on one, John. What? They still make movie fights? Are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't old? I don't know about that. Okay. All right. The next one comes from Chad Hagen. How's it going, Chad? Here it goes. What would be your ideal movie theater if you opened it? Decor, before and after movie activities, snacks, foods. I would attend your theater. Are you sure? Because you haven't heard what my ideal theater is yet. But hey, step back. Hold on. Brace yourselves. Grab some popcorn because let me tell you about my ideal theater. First and foremost, I hate minimalism. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Especially when it comes to a movie theater. When you go to my movie theater, there's more neon lights than there are in Vegas. Okay, when you walk up to it, there's spotlights outside shining in the air. It feels like an event. The atmosphere is alive. You can hear music playing outside. It's movie soundtrack scores. Just think of like the Jurassic Park theme playing up when you walk to this bad boy. Maybe I have some movie props outside, like the Jurassic Park Jeep or a giant shark coming through the wall or something. I don't know. And then you walk in, and the lobby is the most magical place you've ever seen in your life. There is an array of arcade machines, old and new. There's lights flashing over the place. There's people, there's movement. There's tons of movie displays and posters, but there's also movie memorabilia and props that you can look at when you walk around. So you want to just hang out in the lobby. That's half the fun, man. And the color palette, it's so inviting. You got some bright, vivid colors. There's a lot of screens. The menu, the snack selection will blow your hair back. Okay, you don't need to stop at the gas station and put Sour Patch Kids in your pockets at my movie theater. No. The prices are fair. Are they more expensive than they might be at the gas station? Yes, but they're not exuberantly priced like they are currently. They're somewhat affordable. And when they're affordable, guess what? You sell more of them. And guess what? More people come to the theater to buy your snacks. Popcorn is popcorn. We're going to have plenty of popcorn. The food menu items are a bit limited. We'll have nachos. We'll have hot dogs. We'll have pizzas. But we'll keep it limited because I have always found movie theater food to be utterly disgusting. And that's coming from a guy who worked at a movie theater, and I would not ever recommend eating a movie theater hot dog. Trust me, I made them. I handled them. Do not eat them. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to save your life, okay? The pizzas were okay, but they gave you diarrhea. Let's move on. So when it comes to the actual theater experience, every day we will look at the presentation of the picture and the sound. If there's speakers rattling, we will fix them. If the picture's out of focus, it will be fixed. The seats, they're going to get a little bit tattered and torn, but I'm going to do my best to upkeep them. I will definitely have recliner seats, okay? I will have recliner seats. That's a given. But the other thing is, there is going to be an announcement. There's going to be multiple announcements. This will be in the lobby. This will be before the movie. No cell phones, no talking, no texting. You have been warned. You will be asked to leave immediately. And by the way, no infant children at the theater after 12 o'clock in the afternoon. They can come to an early screening of whatever. They can watch it, so be it. But after 12 o'clock, no infants, okay? Also, this is also very important. I will have floor staff continuously monitoring the theaters. So they're looking for people talking, texting. If you do it, you're out of here. Okay? I don't give second chances. I don't even want to give a first chance. Okay? So if you talk, you're out. So the etiquette will rise. The theater experience, the immersion factor will be there. And maybe we'll have discount Tuesdays or something. I couldn't tell you. What else? What else do we need? I think that sums it up for now. Okay, let's continue on. If you use a phone during the movie, you will be taken out back like Old Yeller. Oh yeah, listen. If you're caught texting on your phone, you will be beaten with a rubber sock. Okay? It's not even a joke. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like you will be beaten with a rubber sock. That's all there is to it. All right. All right. Let's keep going. Oh, and the movie theater staff that work there, everyone will be dressed in movie theme. Everyone will be a movie character. It'll be like Universal Studios every time you go there. You'll have Beetlejuice. You'll have Indiana Jones. You'll have the Ghostbusters. You'll have Batman. You'll have everyone. Okay, everyone will be movie themed. John, is your theater 18 plus? No. I think that's bad for business. But every once in a while, we can, see what we can do. We'll have an adult-only night. Have theater snipers, I would. Yeah, so I like what the Alamo Drafthouse does, but now they're introducing a concept where when you order your food while you're sitting in the theater, you use your phone to do it. And I'm just like, so you're telling people to take out their phones in the theater? Wasn't that like the thing that made you guys so great as a theater chain that you couldn't use your phone? But anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to answer a few more questions. We've been talking for a few hours tonight, so if you guys have any more questions in, get them in now. I'm looking at the chat. Roger something says, one of my local theaters I go to is pretty sick on the inside. Black sparkly tiles on the floor and lights everywhere. It almost looks like a laser tag place. It's called Regal Bender's Landing. That's cool, man. Yeah, my local theater, the one I used to work at, it's called Regal. And the colors are like this dull, muted yellow. It looks like Easter colors. Everything is like these pastel, ugly purple and yellow colors. I hate it. I just think it needs repainted. I was trying to find a movie theater lobby that I would want the theater to look like, but I can't find anything that's as epic as I want it to be. Anyway, all right. I cussed someone off in the movie theater. He was glued to his phone. You know what you do? When someone's glued to their phone, you take a Sour Patch Kid, right? And you suck on it just for a couple seconds to get it nice and wet and juicy. You take it and you throw it at their hair. And that shit sticks like glue. Just putting it out there. Who would you cast in Zombies Ate My Neighbors movie? I'm not quite sure who I would cast. You definitely need a couple younger actors. I don't know enough younger actors right now in Hollywood off the top of my head. I'd have to do some research, but you definitely want to cast someone who's like close to like 18, 19 that looks like a teenager. I mean, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe Tom Holland could have kind of worked. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head. All right, let's see. Tarantino, okay, Libby Film says Tarantino's Luke Cage, J.J. Abrams' Superman, or Del Toro's Doctor Strange. Which one would I like to see? I don't know. Tarantino doing Luke Cage could be interesting. J.J. Abrams' Superman, the more I've ever heard about that movie, the less good it sounds. It just doesn't sound like all that fascinating. Del Toro as Doctor... Can I tell you guys... Can I be honest with you guys? Guillermo del Toro, I'm not the hugest fan of him as a director. I know. I like a lot. I like things that he's done, but I don't love a lot of shit that he's done. I think Tarantino's Luke Cage could be the most interesting. Best comedy of all time? Oh man, I don't know. Forrest Gump, maybe? I like Superbad. I don't think it's the best comedy of all time. It's definitely one of my favorites from the last 20 years. I wish we got more comedy movies like Superbad. What is your most anticipated movie this summer? I mean, this summer, I don't even know what's coming out technically this summer. It's not Supergirl, I'll tell you that. Let's see what's coming out this summer. I did a most anticipated movies of all time a couple live streams ago, and there's a dedicated video to it on this channel if you want to check it out. Oh, maybe Spider-Man and the Odyssey. There you go. Sorry, I brain fart, but probably Spider-Man, New Day or whatever it's called, and then I think the Odyssey this summer. I think those are like my go-to summer movies thus far. Del Toro is style over substance. I agree with you. I really do. I agree. Have you seen Pan's Labyrinth, though? Yes, I think that's a good movie. I'll tell you, here's a fun story. I was looking for a movie to watch the other week, and I had never seen The Shape of Water. Never seen it. And I finally got around to watching it, and I think it's interesting, but some of the logic and the way that the movie progresses, I guess I just didn't really like anyone in the movie. And I thought the relationship between the lady who is a mute and the creature from the Black Lagoon, that relation, first of all, she has a fish fetish. Let's just get that out of the way. She clearly has a fish fetish. And I just think they could have explored more of it, or not so much the fish fetish, but just more of who he was and his backstory. And I thought the romance aspect kind of fell flat, and it was sort of style over substance. And it just sort of abruptly ends. And I'm like, there's a good reason no one talks about this movie 8 years later after it came out. So anyway, there's that. During my viewing of Longlegs, there were these guys who deliberately sat in the front of me, talking, laughing, and used their phones throughout the movie. Wanted to throw my shoe at them. Well, you just put your foot on the back of their chair and keep rocking it. Or you go up to them, you go right up to there and go, "Shh, children, the movie's playing." Or sometimes what you can do is you go in front of them and you put your phone on flash and you just stand in front of them and take a picture. And you're like, "Oh, was that annoying?" Oh, okay. Just because everyone behind you can see your phones. Can you do a retro review of Lawnmower Man while mowing your lawn? I don't know if I can do both those things at once, man. That sounds deadly. All right. I think I'm going to wrap up the live show right there. But as always, guys, thanks for the questions. Thanks for hanging out tonight. We'll do another live show next week. And once again, once this video gets published, if you guys have a recommendation for a movie night, a watch along for a movie that we can watch together during a live stream, but the movie has got to be free to watch on YouTube. It's got to be free to watch on YouTube. We will watch it at some point very soon. So leave those suggestions down below. Let me know which movie you're thinking. Something fun, something easy to get through, maybe a little bit wacky. I don't know. As always, Shave says, "I love you." Well, I love you too, man. And Skylar Wheelock says, "Which alcohol actually tastes terrible, but everyone acts like it's good?" Vodka just tastes like rubbing alcohol. It only tastes good if you mix it with something. So there's that. And I think most beers taste like urine at this point in my life. So give me a Jack and a Coke Zero any day. That's my go-to choice on the rocks because I want it to be watered down. Dread 3D, it's on YouTube. What? Okay, as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. And stay safe. All right. See you guys later. I'm going to go eat some frozen pizza. Bye-bye.